Now on Coast TV News.
Special election events. Both candidates for Delaware's open House seat in District 20 make their case.
Sand shifting starts, what Denmark is doing at the Indian River Inlet and how it could inconvenience visitors to the Delaware Seashore State Park.
Lewis land changes.
I hated to see the dairy leave, really, because had been there for so long.
A proposed subdivision at the site of the old Lewis Dairy gets a public hearing today.
A threat for heavy rain and flooding for Delmarva. Tropical moisture will trigger showers and storms, some with heavy rain and the potential for flash flooding. I'll track the flood threat coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And it is Monday, July 14th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we're at the halfway point of the month. It's sort of the halfway point of the summer.
I know, I just said, how was 4th of July 10 days ago? I feel like it was literally, I cannot believe it. I feel like it was literally like 3 days ago. It's going a little too quickly.
Too fast for me.
This weekend was beautiful, though.
It was.
Spent a lot of time outside. You said that you did some grilling.
Did some grilling.
Very nice, very nice. But Bob, it was a good weekend, good time with weather. There was a little bit of a breeze, which made it a little bit bearable, too.
Yeah, I thought it was a beautiful weekend, and good morning, Elisa and Matt. And yeah, as I mentioned too, the 4th of July, it just comes and goes so fast, and seems like the summer flies as well. Out the door this morning, it's muggy and mild and dry, 70 in Gumboro, 72 in Millsboro, Lewis 75, Bethany Beach is 74, and once again, the dew point temperatures mainly in the low 70s, so we're talking about very muggy air. But we're looking at quiet conditions right now, mainly clear skies, and even to the west, seeing quiet conditions, dry, but things will change eventually. But I think today we're in pretty good shape with high pressure building in. There is a front to the northwest that will sag to the south, and that will increase storm chances as we go through time, and maybe heavy rain and possible flash flooding. But this morning we're okay. We're looking at temperatures warming into the 80s, more clouds than sun. Then this afternoon we could see some isolated storms, some with very heavy rain possible. Temperatures into the 80s, some 70s where you get some rain, cool air. There is a flood watch for parts of the eastern shore that goes into effect later today into Tuesday, and then farther to our west, and then our flood threat will, I think, increase as we go into Tuesday. But today we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds, and that threat for a few isolated storms this afternoon with mid-80s, and then a much better chance of seeing some flooding, I think, as we go through the next couple of days. More on that and your work week forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. Our top stories happening this afternoon. The Republican candidate for the Delaware House District 20 special election holding a campaign event in Lewis. In less than 1 year, Nikki Miller is making a second run at this seat. In November 2024, Miller lost to Stell Parker Selby by just 275 votes. Miller told Coast TV she hopes the experience she gained from past campaigns will better her chances in a special election.
When I was principal and when I'm in administrator role, I care about constituents, right? That's just going to be bigger now. So my responsive to the constituents, being that voice for them, not only when we're voting on things, but being there to support them in other ways.
Miller's holding a meet and greet at Nicola's off of Coastal Highway from 3 to 5 p.m.
And Miller's Democratic opponent, Alana Berry, kicked off her campaign in Milton on Saturday. Berry says this marked the start of door knocking and meetings as many voters as possible. Supporters gathered at Milton Memorial Park to get their yard signs and listen to Democratic officials from across Delaware. The August 5th special election comes after former District 20 Representative Stell Parker Selby resigned following her long-term absence due to ongoing health issues.
And here's what we're talking about when it comes to District 20. It's an area that includes Milton, Lewis, Harbison, Georgetown. It's a district that has about 23,000 registered voters.
Julianne Murray, chair of the Delaware Republican Party and Georgetown attorney, has been nominated to serve as the next U.S. attorney for the District of Delaware. And today she is expected to be sworn into that interim position. This was confirmed to Coast TV by Executive Director of the Delaware Republican Party, Nick Miles. Murray would succeed David Weiss, who was appointed to that post in 2018 under President Trump and resigned from that position in January.
It's now been 1 year since the gunman tried to assassinate then-candidate Donald Trump at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. The president was grazed by a bullet during the rally as 20-year-old Thomas Crooks fired 8 shots. One-man Butler volunteer firefighter Corey Comparator was killed, shielding his family and 2 other people who were shot. A new Senate report released Sunday morning says there was a disturbing pattern of communication failure between federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies and negligence that culminated in a preventable tragedy.
I don't like to think about it much. You know, I have a job to do, so I don't like to think about it much. It's a little bit of a dangerous profession being president, but I really don't like to think about it too much.
Snipers subsequently killed the gunman, but questions remain about Crooks, including motive and if he was assisted in any way.
And now lawmakers are responding to the solemn anniversary. Maryland Representative Andy Harris posted this to his Facebook page saying, quote, "1 year ago, by the grace of God, President Trump survived a violent attack on his life. Every day we pray for the safety of the Trump family and for no such act to occur again," end quote.
Visitors at Delaware Seashore State Park will have to stay clear of some areas. That starts today. Denrex says crews are testing the sand bypass system around the Indian River Inlet. Crews are moving large amounts of sand through high-pressure pipes from the south side to the north side. Entering the active work zone is prohibited as pumping operations will be dangerous. These tests will run Mondays through Thursdays over the next 4 weeks.
And similar work is taking place today in Ocean City. Emergency dredging operations will kick off at the Ocean City Inlet. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is performing the dredging to restore safety for boaters ahead of the White Marlin Open. Maryland Department of Natural Resources says the northern half of the harbor channel will be closed to boat traffic while dredging is performed. The operation is expected to take 8 to 10 days. And a boater suffered a serious head injury Sunday afternoon when they were struck by a pontoon boat propeller. This happened just before 4 p.m. according to the Ocean City Fire Department. Maryland State Police Aviation Command was called in and airlifted the injured boater to a nearby trauma center. The victim's condition has not been released and is still unknown.
Happening tonight in Lewis, the latest on the Donovan Smith manufactured home community. A public hearing is taking place on the conditional use application. The community is located west of the downtown area on Savannah Road. In April, the Planning Commission reviewed a proposal to add 31 more homes.
Also taking place at that meeting, discussion and possible action regarding the Roosevelt Landing development. The proposed subdivision would create 8 single-family homes. It is located at the site of the Lewis Dairy on Pilottown Road. Some people who live nearby say they are sad to see the dairy go, but also they're fine with the size of this development.
At least that's small, you know, not going to create that much traffic, and not like some of the larger building areas. I hated to see the dairy leave, really, because it's been there, had been there for so long, but you know, everything changes.
And both housing topics will be discussed at the Lewis Council meeting tonight at 5:30.
Now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. this morning, President Trump's threat to hit the European Union and Mexico with 30% tariff is the latest in an escalating trade war. This is both sides battle over what impact the tariffs will have at home.
Meanwhile, as Homeland Security Secretary is defending her department's latest moves, NBC's Alice Barr shows us what could be next for both top issues.
President Trump stepping up trade tensions again with more top U.S. trading partners over the weekend, announcing new 30% tariffs on Mexico and the European Union, set to take effect August 1st, while signaling he's still open to negotiate.
We're dealing with other countries and certain countries that would rather have a deal than a regular tariff, and we're willing, if they're willing to open up.
European leaders sharply critical of the tariffs they say would hurt businesses and consumers on both sides, pledging to intensify negotiations while warning they could retaliate. Mexico calling the new levies unfair treatment after President Trump accused the country of not stopping the cartels. Despite tariff uncertainty over the past several months, inflation has cooled, and the Trump administration is adamant prices won't go up.
Well, these tariffs are real if the president doesn't get a deal that he thinks is good enough. But, you know, conversations are ongoing, and we'll see where the dust settles.
While some experts warn of a looming cumulative impact if all the threatened import taxes go through.
Everything is going to cost more over time.
At the same time, Homeland Security head Kristi Noem is defending her department's response to the deadly flooding in Texas, sharply refuting claims that a policy requiring her sign-off on contracts over $100,000 caused delays.
Those contracts
and on the future of FEMA.
The president recognizes that FEMA should not exist the way that it always has been. It needs to be redeployed in a new way.
Pointing to other federal resources like the Coast Guard that helped respond. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Yeah, coming up, college career opportunity where internships are available with the city of Salisbury.
Also, Route 24 troubles, why some locals say tragedy is waiting to happen.
And sending mail more expensive. How much the price of stamps is increasing in the U.S. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
5:12 on our Monday morning. Lots of clouds, a few breaks in Dover right now in the Bay Health Cam 76. And we're looking at some clouds out there, some breaks in the clouds, some blue skies. I think we're mainly quiet this morning. We're seeing some clouds back to our west, but it's going to be a warm and muggy day. We could see a shower or thunderstorm, but a front to our north and west will increase that threat as we go through the next few days. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s and still those dew points in the low 70s as well. That means high humidity, but your drivecast looking pretty good. I gave it the green light. Dry roads this morning, but heads up this afternoon. Gave it the yellow light for the afternoon and evening commute. Isolated showers and storms, some containing very heavy rain and possibly local flooding. More on that flood threat coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Bob. A heads up for drivers near Milton. Webb Road will be closed between Gravel Hill Road and Shingle Point Road starting today. You can see that location on your screen right now. DelDOT says crews will be working on underground utility lines tied to the Four Winds Farm development. That closure will start at 7 o'clock and run through Friday the 18th.
Yeah, we got another closure to tell you about. This one is in Millsboro. DelDOT says Delaware Avenue is closing between DuPont Boulevard and Millsboro Highway. Construction's beginning today. This is for the installation of 3 crossroad pipes. And DelDOT says work is expected to finish August 4th, weather permitting.
The federal government is raising the price of stamps. Senior U.S. Postal Service Representative Marty Johnson confirms that the price of first-class forever stamps is increasing by 5 cents, rising from 73 cents to 78 cents. Johnson called the jump a, quote, rational and realistic approach. The price jump is now in effect.
People across the country are set to pay more for ketchup, salsa, and other tomato-based foods. Starting today, the U.S. is pulling out of a 3-decade-old tomato price agreement with Mexico. The move is to make way for nearly 21% tariffs on most Mexican tomato imports. That could mean higher prices for Americans anywhere that uses tomatoes, though CNBC did report this month that the current tariff policy has not resulted in an increase to the cost of goods.
We're seeing tractors smoothing out the sand, getting ready for another beach day. Gateway Subaru Cam at Ocean City, 77 degrees. Warm and muggy start to the week, and then we have the threat for heavy rain at times the next few days and maybe some flash flooding as well. I'll track the rain chances, talk about the flood potential in your work week forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:17, and you are looking live at the early morning scene in Ocean City. And Bob, we did avoid those thunderstorms over the weekend.
Yes.
Sounds like they could return, though.
They could, but nice timing on Mother Nature's part, Matt. We had a nice weekend. Easterly flow kept everything stable and dry, but things are changing as we go through time. Now today, I think we're looking at humid conditions, scattered storms, and possibility of some flash flooding, but I think that chance goes up on Tuesday with a stalled out front nearby, drenching downpours, and we do have flooding concerns as we go into that time period. But today through tonight and early Tuesday, it's the eastern shore under a flood watch. That means potential is there for maybe 2 to 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of rain in about 2 hours time. And then farther to the west through DC into Philly, we are looking at that flood watch. We're out of it now, but we could be included in that, I think, as we go into tonight and tomorrow. Right now it's quiet. We are seeing some clouds, some breaks in the clouds too. Nothing in the way of showers, maybe a few light sprinkles across southern Jersey and a few clouds near I-95 right now and a few more storms in the Pennsylvania Pennsylvania and New York, but it's a boundary to our north and west that will sag to the south. We saw this set up last week, and that boundary gets close enough to us where that'll be the focus for those heavy showers and storms. Out the door, low 70s, nothing too crazy out there. 72 in Millsboro, 71 Salisbury, Seaford 73, Lewis 75, and dew points in the low 70s, still indicating the muggy conditions. Really nothing in the way of wind. And here's the setup heading into Tuesday. Here comes that front close by, and once again, we're going to be seeing training storms, perhaps causing drenching downpours and flash flooding, I think, especially as we go into your Tuesday. Here's Futurecast this morning. We've got the clouds. We've got some breaks in the clouds, too. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s, and then 80s by noon. And then by this afternoon, mid-80s inland, and then I'm concerned about some showers and storms popping up, isolated, but they could put down a lot of rain in a short period of time. The things will quiet down as we go into the evening hours, and then I think activity could rev up again very late tonight and early Tuesday. A few showers and storms, temperatures in the 70s, and I think during the day on Tuesday, that's when we have a better chance of seeing these showers and storms, slow-moving storms that could cause flash flooding. Here's 4:30. By Tuesday evening, it looks like things do start to quiet down. As far as seeing that, maybe Eastern Shore has a low chance of that a little bit later today, but the main threat is very heavy rain. Today, we're in that slight risk of excessive rain with a better chance of that rain back through Washington, Baltimore, and D.C. And then I think our area is in a better chance of seeing flash flooding tomorrow, a slight chance. And then it looks like things do start to improve by Wednesday. But you look at the total rain and you start getting to these purple and red colors, and that's indicating very heavy rain, maybe in excess of 3 to 4 inches as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday. In any case, we stay very humid to miserable really the next several days. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, on and off showers and storms. A better chance Tuesday, 85, 88 on Wednesday with more showers and storms. Getting pretty hot by the end of the week, lower 90s Thursday and Friday. Kind of isolated storms every other day. Saturday's dry, but then more storms on Sunday and 89 degrees. Congratulations to Lana J. Wiest from Georgetown on winning a brand new umbrella from CoastTV and Paul Davis.
Thank you, Bob. Worries about Route 24 in Sussex County. That's what prompted a meeting of state officials and neighbors in Longneck. Full area, the intersection of John J. Williams Highway and Legion Road. Coast TV reporter Zakia Jennings shows us what people living in that area say is a tragedy waiting to happen.
Cars and trucks waiting to turn on Route 24 from Legion Road. Bob Verdugo says turning onto either road is dangerous and nearly impossible.
It's important to actually see what's happening, not just look at data points which talk about traffic counts.
Verdugo says he and many others share the fear of being rear-ended while waiting to turn onto Legion Road and share the frustration of waiting 10 minutes to pull out onto Route 24. Dawn Russo says she's dealing with 2 times the anxiety, not only as a driver, but as a bicyclist.
I have not ridden my bike on Route 24 because it makes me nervous. I am terrified to drive between Oak Orchard Road and Longneck Road on Route 24 because of the potential for accidents.
During Thursday's discussion, many people suggested 3 solutions: better timing with the 2 stoplights that are already set up, reduced speed, and a turn lane for westbound traffic. DelDOT engineer John Derryberry says these recommendations will now be taken into consideration.
We completed a traffic signal justification study at the intersection of SR 24 and Legion Road. It's still in draft format.
But Derryberry says the best solution is
access management is a great tool to restrict, the left turning movements. It's a safer alternative.
DelDOT says it will continue working with Representative Holofsky to come up with solutions to add to their traffic study that will best fit the needs of the people in this area. In Longneck, Zakia Jennings, Coast TV News.
More to come this morning on Coast TV News Today. College career opportunity, how students can get involved in Salisbury. Don't go anywhere. Road work continues today in Cambridge on Cedar Street. Officials say this is due to a sinkhole that's impacting the intersection of Cedar and Peach Blossom Avenue and Cedar Street and Moreland Avenue. Repair is expected to take place until Friday, July 18th.
New this morning, a deadline is approaching for students interested in interning with the city of Salisbury. Final day for applications is tomorrow, July 15th. According to Salisbury officials, there are positions available in several departments such as government, the zoo, and city council. City says college students can apply online.
In Ocean City, volunteers will take to the beach for cleanup efforts this week. The town says you can take part tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Volunteers will meet at 4th Street to pick up materials and then come back together for a trash weigh-in once all of that work is done. Bob said it might not be a bad beach day, but Matt, you told me some sad news. Those jellyfish just got in the way of your boogie boarding.
Boogie boarding, and there are a lot of little jellyfish. I just did not want to mess with them. So
I think that's understandable.
Bob, you'll appreciate this one, like Newman and Kramer on July 14th, 1987. Okay. My day was ruined.
Oh, okay. I used to hate that in the ocean. You see a big wave coming like, oh, it's jellyfish. But, oh, well, you know. What's a little jellyfish going to do besides sting you a little bit? But a good-looking day at the beach, Fenwick Island and Ocean City. I think we'll see a mix of sun and clouds. Lower 80s. Rip current threat is low. UV index high. Remember, swim with a buddy or at a guarded beach just to be on the safe side. Waves around 1 to 2 feet. Mid-80s today in Lewis. Partly cloudy. Low 80s in Rehoboth. So all in all, pretty good. On the bay side, mid-80s in Cambridge, and then we're looking at mid-80s in Crisfield. A few showers and storms later today, but a better flood threat, I think, heading into Tuesday. More on that flash flood threat coming up in the next half hour.
After the break on Coast TV News today, crews prepare for competition. What voters need to know as work begins today ahead of the White Marlin Open.
Also, search suspended. The scary situation in Rehoboth Beach as police say a swimmer still missing.
And Miller campaign kicks off. We'll tell you how the Republican and Democratic 20th District candidates are introducing themselves to constituents ahead of the special election. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Search stalls. We await the next steps by Rehoboth Beach Police as a missing swimmer remains unfound.
Campaigns underway. The race is on for the open seat in Delaware's District 20, how the candidates are kicking off their bids and what voters in the area need to know.
OC boating closure. We have the dredging plans to improve navigation in time for next month's White Marlin Open.
A threat for heavy rain and flooding for Delmarva. Tropical moisture will trigger showers and storms, some with heavy rain and the potential for flash flooding. I'll track the flood threat coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
July 14th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
5:31 a.m. and we're coming off a nice
beautiful
weekend weather-wise. No rain.
No rain at all. No thunderstorms either. Yeah. We save those for during the week. We want our sleep.
I'll take that.
Yes. No, I was happy that we had beautiful weather. I was outside a lot. I know you were as well. And Bob, I hope you spent a lot of time outside because it was gorgeous out.
I did one of Matt's favorite outdoor chores, cutting the grass and doing some lawn work. I heard a grunt. No, but it was a nice weekend. Yeah, it was storm free, but as you said, we started a new weekend, the storm chances increased, but not right now. It's dry. Low 70s out the door, even 75 in Lewis. Ocean City 77, Georgetown 73. Still have dew points in the 60s and 70s. The humidity not going anywhere, so it's muggy, but it's dry, and we have clouds. We have some blue skies too. I think we're dry this morning, but with the heating of the day, I think we could see some storms rolling in a little bit later on, and with the front to the north and west, that will sag to the south and be the focus for increasing showers and storms. But this morning we're dry, clouds and sun, temperatures warming through the 80s by noon. I think we're calling it partly to mostly cloudy with mid-80s inland, a little cooler at the beaches. Then we'll fire up a few isolated storms. Some of those are really heavy rain as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. There is a flood watch for the eastern shore later this afternoon into tomorrow morning, and then farther to the west too, and eventually we could get in on that as we go into your Tuesday. But looking good for the ferry riding forecast. Mix of sun and clouds warming into the 80s with a light southerly breeze as we go into the afternoon.
Thank you, Bob. Our top story this morning happening this afternoon. The Republican candidate for the Delaware House District 20 special election is holding a campaign event in Lewis. In less than 1 year, Nikki Miller is making a second run at this seat. In November 2024, Miller lost to Stell Parker-Selby by just 275 votes. Miller is holding a meet and greet at Nicola's off of Coastal Highway from 3 to 5 p.m.
And Miller's Democratic opponent, Alana Berry, She kicked off her campaign in Milton on Saturday. Barry says this marked the start of door knocking and meeting as many voters as possible. Supporters gathered at Milton Memorial Park to get their yard signs and listen to the Democratic officials from across Delaware. The August 5th special election comes after former District 20 Representative Stell Parker Selby resigned following her long-term absence due to ongoing health issues.
Early voting and absentee voting is happening. Remember, you must request an absentee ballot. All early voting is at Mariner Middle School and a newly added location at Lewis Elementary School.
And if you do want to vote early in District 20 special elections, we have some key dates for you here. Early voting starts July 24th through the 26th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., then continues July 28th and 29th with those same hours. July 30th through August 3rd. The voting times change. They go from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump is expressing growing frustration with Russia's war in Ukraine. The permanent ceasefire he promised to achieve on his first day in office remains elusive. Last week marked Russia's largest drone assault in Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion.
Yeah, today, the President Trump appears to poised to take action. Amy Kiley shows us what new consequences Moscow could face.
I am very disappointed with President Putin.
President Donald Trump says he might make a major announcement about Russia today. He's hosting the NATO Secretary General. Analysts say Trump might be warming to that alliance as he cools toward Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I thought he was somebody that meant what he said, and he'll talk so beautifully and then he'll bomb people at night. We don't like that.
Trump says he's reached a deal to send weapons to Ukraine. He says NATO will pay for them and handle distribution.
Once the Ukrainians have the ability to bring the fighting to Russia in real and sustained ways, Putin will have questions to answer to his own people.
Meanwhile, a bipartisan group of lawmakers is pushing a related bill. It lets Trump levy a 500% tariff on imports from countries that buy Russian uranium, gas, or oil.
A turning point regarding Russia invasion of Ukraine is coming.
Trump's latest rhetoric comes about 5 months after the Ukrainian president visited Washington. That's what a White House official says Trump told him to leave early after a tense Oval Office exchange.
You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
We have a developing situation in Rehoboth Beach this morning. We are awaiting the next steps by the city police and other responders for a missing swimmer. It was Sunday morning, just after 11, that the search was suspended. The Rehoboth Beach Police Department was called to the beach Saturday night near Olive Avenue for a report of a missing swimmer. Both state police helicopters and the Coast Guard were involved in that search.
Emergency dredging operations will kick off in the Ocean City Inlet today. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is performing the dredging to restore safety for boaters ahead of the White Marlin Open. Maryland Department of Natural Resources says the northern half of the harbor channel will be closed to boat traffic while dredging is performed. The operation is expected to take 8 to 10 days in Ocean City.
Happening tonight in Lewis, it's the latest on the Donovan Smith manufactured home community. Tonight, a public hearing will discuss the conditional use application. Donovan Smith is located west of the downtown area on Savannah Road. In April, the Planning Commission reviewed a proposal to add 31 more homes. Public hearing is taking place at the 5:30 p.m. council meeting.
President Trump's threat to hit the European Union and Mexico with 30% tariffs is the latest in an escalating trade war. This is both sides' battle over what impact the trades will have here at home. A 27-member European Union is America's largest trading partner, with imports exceeding $600 billion, while imports from Mexico topped $500 billion in 2024.
These tariffs are real if the president doesn't get a deal that he thinks is good enough. But, conversations are ongoing, and we'll see where the dust settles.
And President Trump says higher tariffs will be imposed if either country retaliates by raising their own tariffs.
We have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Be Salty in Salisbury will tell you how organizers plan to make this market an annual event.
Also back in first place, the one-run win on Sunday that has the Phillies atop the division.
And seeking turtle in turmoil as the Murr Institute continues to search for this sea turtle. We'll tell you what surprising call it received this weekend. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
540 on a mild and muggy Monday morning. Bay Health Cam in Dover seeing some breaks of blue, but a few clouds as well. It is dry, and I'm expecting dry conditions as we go through the morning hours. A few showers up in southern Jersey and just some clouds back to the west. I think we're okay this morning, but I think with the afternoon heating, we could see a few showers and storms, especially as the front to our north gets closer to us. We're looking at temperatures in the low 70s. Here's your golf forecast. Not bad. In fact, pretty good. My putt, not bad for a Monday. 87, warm and humid. Make sure you have the water and the sunscreen, and watch for an afternoon shower or storm. Take shelter if you see the skies darken. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico.
Mariners be on alert. A loggerhead sea turtle in distress has been spotted in the Indian River Bay. You can see the animal right here on your screen. According to the Murr Institute, the turtle has an injury to the rear of its top shell. It's struggling to dive and covered in algae and barnacles. Murr is actively trying to locate it, and if you see the turtle, please contact Murr immediately, and if possible, stay with it until help arrives. Earlier this month, on July 6th, the Murr Institute says a loggerhead sea turtle was rescued off of the coast of Ocean City. The animal was spotted struggling to swim. Dive teams, along with 2 boats from the U.S. and National Aquarium, pulled the turtle to safety. On Friday, the Murr Institute received an unusual call. A mother and calf pair of bottlenose dolphins have been spotted near Milton's Memorial Park. Take a look at this. Murr says the dolphins were likely in the area seeking fish. And while in common, there are reports of dolphins in the Broadkill on a regular basis. When the tide turned, Murr says the dolphins quickly swam back out to the river.
Final game before the MLB All-Star break, and the Phillies looking to avoid getting swept by the Padres. And if things broke right, the Phils would hit the break in first place in the National League East. Phillies take the lead in the first inning. Bryson Stott looks like his grounder will end the inning, but there's a throwing error by the Padres' Luis Arraez. Bryce Harper scores 1-0 Phillies, and that was the only scoring until the 6th when Jose Iglesias hits it off Stott's glove. Stott was playing in. Manny Machado scores. It's a 1-1 game, and we go to the 8th, and that is where JT Realmuto with the drive to left center. It's Harper scoring another run. The Phillies retake the lead at 2-1. The Phillies get the win, and with the Mets loss to the Royals, sorry Bob, it's the Fightin' Phils atop the National League East at the All-Star break. The Nationals enter the break, losers of 8 of their last 9. Nats were swept by the Brewers. Marlin All-Star Kyle Stowers hits 3 homers at Camden Yards on Sunday, an 11-1 rout of the Orioles. On the Orioles farm, Yasmel Buses drives in 2 runs with this hit in the 7th. Shorebirds end the 2-week road trip with an 8-3 win over the Woodpeckers. Birds split the 6-game series in Fayetteville. NASCAR in California on Sunday, 2nd straight road course race, and 2nd week in a row, New Zealander Shane Van Gisbergen is the winner. He led 97 of the race's 110 laps. NASCAR's heading our way. Next Sunday is the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400 at the Dover Motor Speedway. That's the next stop on the NASCAR schedule. Delmarva, that race will take place. And coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 6:15, it's Maryland Supreme Basketball League with boys basketball. 10:30, catch the final score. And on DSM Plus, along with that basketball game we mentioned, you can also watch these exclusives at 6. High school girls basketball at Crown Sports Center. There's also high school boys lacrosse at DE Turf. And there's also more high school boys lacrosse at DE Turf as well.
Movie, music, and streaming news now, beginning with a look at the life of Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
We just wanted to make as much noise as possible. I didn't know one person who liked what we were doing. I loved it.
The official trailer is out for Billy Joel and So It Goes. The first half of the Piano Man documentary debuts Friday on HBO Max, with the second half premiering the following Friday.
Which one's the least expensive? That one, but you get what you pay for. True.
There's more in store for Murderbot fans. Apple TV Plus has renewed the comedic thriller for a second season. Alexander Skarsgård stars in the show as the title self-hacking security robot.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Superman star David Corenswet says he enjoyed playing Clark Kent more than the Man of Steel.
The cape helps, but still, it was a nerve-wracking experience walking out for the first time for all to see. With Clark, it's a lot more fun because you're sort of hidden in the clothes and the glasses hide your face, the hair's in front of the face. You feel a bit more incognito, which is appropriate, and so also I think you have permission to have a little more fun.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
A nice start to the week weather-wise. The sun just about coming up on the Spicer Brothers camp, 71 degrees, and we're looking at a muggy start to the week, warm too. There's a threat for heavy rain at times, especially as we go into Tuesday. Flash flooding is a possibility. I'll track the rain chances and flood potential coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Live look outside at Salisbury this morning. And Bob, we have a clear morning. We see the sun coming up. That might not be the case throughout the rest of the day. Maybe some storms.
Yeah. Maybe some storms. I think isolated this afternoon, Elisa, and then an increasing threat Monday night and into Tuesday. As we're looking at our rain chances, I think isolated to maybe scattered this afternoon. Then you see the uptick to widespread into tonight and Tuesday. Slow-moving storms could cause some flooding and very heavy rain in spots, so watch for that. And it looks like that threat continues as well into Wednesday. It looks like it gets hot and a little drier for the end of the week and into the weekend, maybe a few scattered showers and storms once again. We're not in a flood watch across our neck of the woods, but the eastern shore is from Easton to Chestertown tonight. Actually this afternoon into this evening and into tonight, into tomorrow morning. And then Richmond, D.C., Allentown, these areas could see maybe 2, 4 to 5 inches of rain with slow-moving storms later today. Clouds and radar are quiet right now. All of Delmarva is just looking good right now. Just a few light showers possible. Southern Jersey, and we're seeing some storms near Pittsburgh right now into the mountains of West Virginia. All in all, things are quiet, but I am watching the stationary boundary to the north and west. That'll be sagging to the south and then become a focus for those heavier storms as we go into Tuesday. Out the door this morning looking pretty good. Low to mid 70s. It is still muggy. That's not going to change, really. We're going to be stuck in this tropical-like air mass for a while. Winds are common. Here comes the stationary boundary on Tuesday. That's going to stall near us once again. We're going to be looking at training storms, slow-moving storms with drenching downpours and flash flooding possible. So remember that. Keep that in mind as we go into Tuesday. We're looking at temperatures this morning in the 70s and 80s. It'll be a pretty good day with a mix of sun and clouds by noon. Mid-80s inland, 70s and 80s at the beaches. And then by 4 o'clock, maybe some isolated storms that put down some heavy rain. So watch for that. Then into this evening and tonight, we're seeing maybe another round of showers and storms. Some of those could put down some heavy rain. Then as that boundary gets closer on Tuesday, I think we have a chance of seeing once again slower moving storms and more widespread thunderstorms into the afternoon. Here's 4:30 Berlin to Ocean City, maybe a little drier to the north. Really depends on where this stationary front lines up. And then it may be drying out as we go into Tuesday night. But the main threat is heavier rain, just a low chance of severe weather from Easton to Chestertown and Dover. And then as far as the excessive rain, I think we have a slight chance today with a moderate chance back through D.C. and Baltimore. A slight chance tomorrow. That means an uptick in that chance of flooding. Then I think things calm down a little bit as we go into Wednesday. But as far as rainfall amounts as we go through the next couple of days into Wednesday evening, these purple and red colors, that could be in excess of 2 inches of rain, maybe 3, 4 inches in some places. So you really have to watch out for that. Otherwise, very humid to miserable as far as the dew points and the muggy meter the next several days. On and off showers and storms on the Paul Davis 7-day forecast. I think the heaviest Tuesday, 85, 88 Wednesday, then hot Thursday and Friday, lower 90s, more storms Friday. I think we get a break Saturday, and then more storms again on Sunday. Temperatures this weekend into the upper 80s.
All right, thank you, Bob. A new community event kicked off over the weekend in downtown Salisbury. The Bee Salties Market on Main took place. Event organizer and owner of Bee Salty, Jessica Larson, says the goal is to have affordable shopping for the local community. Visitors at the market could shop from local vendors and businesses, enjoy some food and drinks, and do a craft or two. Larson says the community support has been powerful.
It feels really great, actually. The downtown support from actually downtown Salisbury headquarters to all the other businesses and the small vendors through here that actually join us on Third Friday as well. The support has been amazing. Everybody's excited. It's just been an outreach of excitement and support for us. So we've been really welcomed with that.
Larson adds that the idea for the community market came from past fundraising events and markets she was a part of and visited in Delaware. She plans to make the market a yearly event in Salisbury.
The time is now 5:52, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Today's coastal pet of the day is celebrating his mom's birthday. On your screen, good friend Benny and his grandma. As you can see, the two are excited for another year of life and the celebrations that come with it. Happy belated birthday. This picture was submitted to us, as always, with Benny by Tammy in Seaford.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yeah, you scan that QR code top of your screen to submit your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
The time is now 5:56. We're going to take another look at our forecast before you head out the door.
Yeah, Bob, looks like we're tracking a typical summer day for mid-July.
Pretty much, average highs in the upper 80s. I think we'll be right there with isolated storms this afternoon. I think we're in good shape this morning. Some clouds, those will break up. Still pretty muggy with a southerly breeze in the mid-80s, and watch for some storms popping up this afternoon. Any one of those could put down a lot of rain in a short period of time. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. I'm more concerned for tomorrow for the potential of flooding rain, and yeah, we could be seeing some flash flooding in some places, so we'll have to watch that very carefully. 85 and then 88, a few more storms Wednesday. Gets pretty hot by the end of the week with lower 90s Thursday and Friday. Break from the storms Thursday, more storms Friday, and then the weekend upper 80s. Dry Saturday, storm Sunday. So it's every other day it seems like we're getting storms in the 10-day forecast, and it looks like that trend continues into next week with temperatures near normal.
Thanks, Bob. Coming up in our next hour, campaign kickoffs. Candidates ramp up their bids for the open State House seats that covers northeastern Sussex County. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News Today.